I am Eon, and it's time to look back at the sci-fi releases in August 2025. This is review number 2. Please note I will not be reviewing stuff I've already done in review number 1, except to update as needed. You can always go check that. This is new stuff that was new to me, at least, as I went through this. It is Sunday, August the 17th as I record this. Enough yapping, let's get into it. Here's Second Dynasty. They did have this icon or this image showing the Friends of Benjamin tier get the Magpie. Otherwise, you get the Auroch, and on the left, the rocky flats and boulders of Cocytus, which of course could be used for any type of rocky outcrop in terrain that you would want. In addition, I'd like to give them a shout out for their sake that they're on Frontiers with Expendable. So kind of a, I would say, alien-inspired board game sort of thing. So definitely compatible with Grimdark Future. Definitely worth checking out. Atlan Forge has given us a preview of the Waitao light-armored Tiki Mask Shark Knights. And that was the only thing new from the last time we looked. Beyond Space has Ortikar Roan, which seems to be the third model for this month. Again, they did reprice their tiers, so definitely worth checking out if you haven't done that. Custom Miniature Maker put out this can turret, and I just thought it was a really cool idea. So once you're done with the can, you print these things out, you stick them on there, and if you don't want to do a can, you can just put the turret directly on top of that base there like that as well. So that's what you print out. The only issue I would have with that is you want to make sure those cans are well cleaned before you don't want to leave sticky syrup inside the can and then have it as a terrain years later. It's just not going to work out well. There's also a couple of bases that Custom Miniature Maker has put out, such as the Eldritch Ritual, which probably isn't that sci-fi, but depending on your world, it could be. But the metal grates, I think, definitely do fit with the sci-fi thought. Dakka Dakka has put out some newer renders of some of the stuff, so I wanted to look at that. MSC Operations Team 2nd Division. These come as monopose models, meaning you don't have to put them together. Or if you do want to put them together, there's lots of options over on the right that you can do that with. The MSC Breakout Team comes with 10 monopose models, the Robot Planes and Turret, and Warfielder Mark III. Modular HQ with weapon options. MSC APC Solar Wind, a modular vehicle. Most vehicles usually do have weapon options. And then the Ordyne Vendetta APC upgrade. The Rockhead gangs, you have Headhunters. There's Rolt Le Chef and Spivier, and Theodore the Grande Headhunter and Cartel Psychokineticist. Pluto's Mechanized Liquidation Team, Build Kit, and Monopose models. Monopose, apparently this is still a work in progress. And then, if you have done the Titan of Mankind tier, you get one extra big special model, and this month it's Seraphil, the Saint of Ordyne Vendetta. Ghamak has put out their sci-fi tier. Here is a look at everything at a glance. Let's take a farther look. Here we have the Templar MBT Striker and Defender. These are covered in ornaments, trophies, and insignia, turret Gatling variants to serve as an attacking and defensive powerhouse. Here's the Corrupted Guard. They wanted to paint a scene, tell a story. Seeing how everybody seemed to like their artilleries, this was a necessary reinforcement. They also plan on to be finishing up the Volturuk faction. So here are the new additions to those. This is the Rift Claw Shades. And if you hear the ground shaking or feel the ground shaking, it's probably the Warfangs. Notice they come with different weapon options. In addition, they have updated their welcome pack for both fantasy and sci-fi. Here's what the updated sci-fi welcome pack looks like. Golden Dragon Games snuck out this little release for August. British Empire Universal Carrier Mark 11 K and Drake, British Empire Bedford Utility Truck, Holy Roman Empire, Brandenburger, Stormtrooper upgrade pack. So just a little bit better look at some of those. Heroes Infinite by Raging Heroes, I'm never sure which way to call it, has Metal Necromoon Odyssey, Jailbirds versus the Pharaonites. So let's take a look here at Amanu Sekar, High Curator of Pure Perishable Organics, Major Adrasta Freaking Veil, Katran, the Star Whisperer, Mira Misk, the Voice of the Uprising. Just finished Andor Season 2 a few weeks ago. That reminds me of that. Norut, the Silent Reaper. Crazy Kira, the Emergency Medic, and she comes without a mask if you subscribe to her on their website. Veska, Banner of the Rebellion. Lord Kepperer. Overthought that, sorry. Maritovek, the Weapon Specialist. It's good to see she's got that Molotov used for a second thing. Here's a Nomad Stalker. Pretty cool vehicle there. Figure for scale. Here's a Tomb Warden. Boomstick Wheelers on a rider. Boomstick, not broomstick. Boomstick. Void Watcher. Really like the pixelation effect on the cloak there. It's very similar to what M3DCon did this month. Here's a Tyramid of the Infinite Divisions. This is their centerpiece for the month of August. If you become an Overlord, then you get all of that plus an additional Tomb Warden. Boomstick Wheelers, as in multiples of those. Some Void Watchers. Additional Void Watcher. Hero. Some heavy weapon teams, Kefet Riders, Barge of the Undying, Banner of the Rebellion on trike, and some modular scenery. And there's probably a few other things that I just glossed over and didn't include because their releases are always so large, it's difficult for me to include everything. Here's an example of how the scenery can be used. M3DCon shows the August release this month. So there's the Griffin Riders and the Planks Rolling Tube. But I did want to point out this really cool render that they did here to kind of show you, hey, if you're an artist, this is probably the coolest way to print these models and to paint them, if at all possible. And I reached out to M3DCon and asked for a better image because I really wanted to show off these sliggers, I believe they're called, and I just thought it was a really cool effect to see this guy phasing, and just it works. And I think depending on your paint job, it would work even cooler. But I really like seeing that kind of thing. It's just different looking. Kill Me for Prizes Designs KMFP has Purgation Cyberbots. And Void Swarm Overlord Constructs. And again, I forget the scale, but these are done at like 15 millimeter or even 8 millimeter. So these are intended to be like much smaller than normal models. In addition, to give them a heads up, there is Project Heavy, which is a little bit outside their normal purview, that launches August 18th. That's tomorrow as I record this. That might be today when you're watching this, if you're watching it the day I put it out. And so I'll try to include a link to the Kickstarter below so that you can go check that out if you're interested too. Kyoushuneko Miniatures has not put out any models, but they have put out their mood board, their inspiration. So there's some Japanese World War II, Japanese Weird War, heavy assault exo units. Japanese Weird War riflemen with compression guns. I don't know what that is. Scorpion Walker, Criminal Underworld Russian Gangsters, and Desert Sikh Raiders Officer Kit. So kind of a few different places here. Loot Studio has put out Hell Planet Escape, and this usually comes out on the 15th of the month. And due to the fact that it's so close to that, and I think it's the weekend, this is the only image I really have to show you everything. We'll come back and look at this. If we have a chance to do a review number 3, we'll try to catch the other images soon. But I wonder if it comes with that coffee mug. We can wish, right? But no. So anyway, just kind of showing you what this looks like. Pretty cool models, some nice scatter terrain in general. The Maker's Cult has put out this picture of the Part 1 release. I'm always kind of hesitant to say what exactly everything is here. I believe these are the Samurai Ashigoro Guard Builder. These are siege gunners. Now there's 3 of them here, and I'm not sure which ones are A, which ones are B, and which ones are C, but there are the 3 different variants of them. Here's the Heavy Fire Team. Pretty sure that's what that is. That's a really cool diorama, and it's a great paint job for that too. And these are Corvette Assault Skimmers, I believe. These seem to come like with one engine, and I think this is also a Corvette Assault Skimmer with like extra stuff on the sides. So I may be wrong. If so, I apologize. Mantic Vault gave us this preview for the month of August. It's mostly a fantasy release, but there's a little bit for sci-fi. Let's look at more detail. This is the Firefight Mule upgrades for the Plague Army. This is a mule body, dead GCPS, and mule weapons for Plague as well. So lots of upgrades to the mule that you hopefully picked up last month. Marchen Atelier has, we've already looked at the models, but they have put out this painted diorama of everything you get this month. Very bright coloring for this. I'm very impressed. Sheep, dogs, cats, I think, all sorts of things. Modern Miniatures has the M2A3 Bradley IFV STL set and Black Hawk Crew. And just a couple other views of the Black Hawk Crew. Some of them are on the gunner seat. Some of them are in the, well, I guess passenger seats you would call them. And then it was pointed out to me that Modern Miniatures does differently if you back them on Tribes. So on Tribes, you get an M1A2 Abrams SEP V3 tank. So I'm not sure if you have to back them in both places to get everything or how exactly that works, but there's that. Moid. Now, this may not be the August release, but I believe they were prepping it in July for the August. They have kind of been quiet, and they are apparently working on something called ISO blocks or ISO bits, which is build your own futuristic cityscape. So there are several different wall variants that you can print to put into this system, and here they're showing you how these things go together. And so you can kind of pick and choose and get the look that you want as well. These are optimized for support-free FDM printing. I always prefer FDM. Personally, it's less mess. Then with this wall connector system, you can mix and match to create corridors, corner walls, etc., etc., etc. It is a little weird that you have to print, looks like 2 walls for 1 wall, because you have to print the front and the back. But and there's a printed example to show you what this looks like. But still pretty cool. To show you what all you can do with ISO bits, here is some of the models they have. Looks like they're coming out like little dioramas. So here's like a truck and some pieces. There's a boat, a little backhoe. Not a backhoe. Just a tractor, I guess. Words forget me. I can't talk. Can't think. Trash can. Coffee, which it's interesting to note that it's spelled differently in both places. And some more diorama pieces to show you what you can get there. Burgers is misspelled as well, Moid. Mr. Modulork has shown us the free tier. 1 out of 5 is Mamonsta. Comes in several different versions, different armor options. Is it a dog? Is it a What is that? It's a monster. Primal Orcs is release number 2. You know, I was thinking I should probably put these in fantasy, but then, oh, look, he's got a chainsword and a pistol. He's got a chainsword on a polearm. But some of these would go well in a fantasy world if you wished. Nate Feyma is one that I've been trying to add in, and I don't think I've been able to do that just yet. This is the mobile gantry set, and I believe it's still a kind of work in progress at this point. But you can see from render to some test prints that it's coming along. One Page Rules has Orc Marauders for the month of August. Some people are happy about it, some people less so, and for those of y'all that are less so, I apologize. I'm just here reporting what's out there. GF Warfleet's Alliance Fleet. Here we see what we're getting with Orcs this month. Now, regardless of what you think of the Orcs, I think anybody would agree the legendary HDF epic battle that we see here, the Human Defense Force, fighting off what seems to be like one of the demons and such, is just very, very cool. This is an awesome model. I'm not sure if they're fighting off demons or if they're fighting off the alien hive race. Maybe that. But it's just really cool effect. Like being able to print that, how many bottles of resin does it take to print that thing off? I don't know, but they've got to be worth it, right? For the Orcs in the month of August, you get the Orc Leader. I believe this is the Gunmaster version. And this is the Orc Leader in Infiltrator gear. And probably more Infiltrator gear. I wasn't sure what to call that one. These are Infiltrators, and that's the majority of what you're getting in the month of August. Again, I think these are Infiltrators. I think I just forgot to put the label there. Sorry. They come with several different weapon options, mask options, male or female options, usually. Usually some very subtle sometimes, but these are hover bikers, which is a very different look on those. Some of them come with tanks, some of them come with missiles, some come with melee weapons. There's also some walkers. I think there's only 3 walkers is what the list said. But I see more than 3. You also get some bases and objectives, as is typical with one-page rules. And some desert scatter terrain. I think they're still releasing for the month, though, so we may be back. Oshouna Minis has put out a preview of theirs. That is a crab cult, not a carb cult. That's a typo on my part, sorry. Bulldozer crab, 3 Doomed Empire urn bots, and 3 Doomed Empire doom bikes. That's what happens when I do things too much in a hurry. Papsikels for August has Alien vs. Humans, Ground Zero. Powered Armored Suit Marine has me the most excited for this month. There's also Grendel King Clan Leader, Warlord Skullhunter 2, and Benjamin Verdau Oges. He reminds me of, I cannot think of what the character's name is in Rogue One, but I don't think it's that character. This is a Predahulk Skullhunter. Comes in 2 varieties at least. Celtic Skullhunter. Again, 2 varieties. Chopper Skullhunter. 2 varieties. Scar Skullhunter. Also 2 varieties. I thought there was another Predahulk, sorry. There's a 3rd variety of that. And there's a Pilot Killer Skullhunter 3. And there's 1 and 2. So they come in several options as well. So kind of like a Predator looks like without so much stuff on its head. I don't know. Like bald. Union Armed Forces Progressive People SOF 2122, 2324. That's a heck of a bag. I have to protect it. Xeno Spitters. There are like 5 of these. Now, after that, Papsikels will usually release throughout the month. So here's the Robomorph Xenocop. Ha! The gun on the mouth tongue. That's... Here's the Desecrated Saint of Brutality. I believe this is inspired by Trench Crusade. I'm not familiar with the lore of Trench Crusade, but wow, there's a lot going on in that model. Here's the Lieutenant of Faith. It's a very nice looking sword. And a Quipo Communicant. These are Sierra Madre Nuns. That's Sierra Madre Nun Kurzel, Nun Lazel, and Nun Yastella. There's also Hunter of the Left Hand Brutality. Hunter of the Left Hand Brutality. Makes more sense when you put left and hand together, doesn't it? For their Cyberpunk release, that's why the background's changed to purple, we see Ex-Soldier Techno Punk. We see, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to click this so fast. We have Cobra Infantry Troopers. Now this has me pretty excited too. Female V Mercenary. Male V Mercenary. I wonder what the V stands for. Is it 5 or is it just, I don't know. Gunnery Sergeant Leatherneck. Gunnery Sergeant Leatherneck 2 and 3. So is these supposed to be the G.I. Joe characters? Here's Human Marine codename Bishop. Codename Guardian. Hyper Papsinoid Gavin 1 and 2 and 3. There's Papsilord Li Yinsu. Comes in 3 varieties as well. Mechanically Augmented Soldier Jaren Namir. Is it like a Terminator? I feel like there's always some sci-fi here that I'm just not familiar with. And it comes in 3 varieties there. And then there's the Papsikels Industries Armored Frame Quadrupod GR. Wow. Piper Makes has shown us a couple things for August. Here's the Fishback Reruns Archer Fish. And of course, all the options to put that together. And some of the ways you can put them together. Score Clan Melee Class Void Frames. Here are all the various pieces you can put together. And ways you can put them together. Print Minis has shown us the Shatari Hunters, the Arrowish tribe. This is a modular gang. So here are the options of the figures to put them together. It goes with the Shatari Hunters. These are damaged riser bases. And so for the building kits, Zone Selvik, we get a level 2 building. Level 1 building. And a level 3 building. So it seems to be modular stuff that you can put together in several different ways. Notice that they are showing you how the walls can be put together, how this can be used with some previous pieces that were released as well. So if you've been backing for a while, you have more options available to you. Silent Spectre's Monobike. So there's Ghost Wheel. House Henrik Military Advisors, House Leader, and the House Guard. Printerra Studios has only put out this one little image that I could find, the Neural Tyrannical Floater. Hopefully we'll be able to come back and check more out. Project Mobius in August has an underground parking lot. An upper atrium. And a CEO level floor. Imagine this would be where the campaign ends, or at least that part of it. Proxybrewer has Iron Reach Strikers. Interchangeable bodies, arms, heads, weapons, and more. This is the Vintage Vanguard Veterans. They stated this was a community commission by a very generous community member. So I believe this was funded by one person and everyone got it who backed that month. And here is a model proof of concept for the infantry for next month. So this may be a preview model, but I was under the impression it was August release number 3. I think it's actually been released now for people to start playing with and see what they think of it. PS Miniatures has Space Elf Soul Stealers. Model number 1, model number 2, model number 3, and model number 4. They also come with a couple of different head variants, such as without a helmet, or with, whichever you would prefer. Really quickly from Puppetswar, we don't have any images to show, but the list says Orc Tracker Chieftain riding Captured Brute Bug, Supreme Exorcist Battle Walker in 3 styles, and some new Digger bugs are the intention. Red Pilgrim Miniatures has Desert Hawks Command Squad 2. Command Squad squared. So here are the models. RedMakers and Adeptus Miniatures has Shell Cord Troopers and Hallowed Flame, excuse me. Shell Cord Troopers are Imperial Guard. We get 20 units. Several different poses. And for the Kill Squad, the Hallowed Flame. There are 13 models here. We're not going to look at all 13, but we will highlight a couple of them. Rizzenvoth put out this image of, to be released in August, the Scorpodax Behemoth Siege Automata, along with maybe some alternate weapons on the tail. RPG Figures put out TT5 Hunter Robot for the month of August. Sir Nicholas Miniatures has the white marked Bayara Guard. These are inspired by a character or an entity from Trench Crusade, as you can see on the left there. On the right is the also some inspiration that they used in putting together these Wu-Wai new army. These are modular and can be put together in several ways. Skullforge Studio has put out their August preview, and that's a hiss. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, and that's Mara Jade in the middle, and is that Solid Snake on the left over there, I think? Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff. Here's Republic Agent Trick, Void Company, and some Republic Troopers Phase 3. And here's for Arsenal, an MCV Saber. That's all we see currently from Skullforge, but more to come. Skullforge Studios has a walking tank this month. It comes with a few different weapon options, as we'll see here in these images, that you can equip however you would like. And there are the weapon options. Stationforge has put out a little bit. Tarian Hunters. I almost missed this. This is the Free Guard half track. Notice it comes with a few different weapon options. You can either have the back open for troops, or you can have it closed for weapons. And you can sit troops back there. It's kind of cool to see how they took the track off just so you could see what's going on back there and then what it might look like. Or you can use the back as a weapon platform, whichever way you want it to go. They also have put out the Free Guard Battle Tank. Again, several weapon options for up top. You can have troops riding, or you can have troops not riding. Table Hammer has put out this image for the August release of the Strahlen Jungle Guard. There's a lot going on there. If you're interested in Table Hammer, I encourage you to go look at their Patreon or tribe and look and see. But basically, one of their main lead sculptors, El Mutanto, has left and is going for some new opportunities. It is a mutual agreement, and basically the next couple of months, in August and September, they'll be doing releases and then releasing what they can, because that's what they have queued up. And the future of Table Hammer is kind of to be determined. So just FYI for your information. And there's probably some nuance to it that I didn't quite get at a quick perusal, but a lot to unpack there. Traders Galaxy. Not to mention the fact there's been a lot of change with creators over the last few months for several reasons. Bot War Steel and Terran Son that you can see here. For their more RPG sort of tier, there's Space Cop Horror, and I kind of see what they're doing there. Interesting. Some werewolves as well, and some people wearing a pretty helmet that looks like something else. Looks like they're probably very judgmental. Retro Robot RR42. UGLYmini has put out this release here. I meant to look up the names to put on there, and I didn't do that, of what they call the whole thing. But, I mean, there's the Monstrous Tyrant. Pretty cool model. Here's the Infected. And the whole time I'm looking at this, I'm thinking Mantic Games and their Plague. And these are pretty much what I see here is like Plague. These are Infected Gunners. A Great Beast. Rabid Dogs. The fact that the dog's head is like doubled in the middle and split the wrong way is really weird. Light Dropship, which has obviously been infected. And some Crazed Ravens. Now, we've already looked at a glance at Unit 9, but I wanted to double check that I had everything done, and I hadn't. So let's look at this from scratch. So here's Unit 9's August release. So here's Anders Haxley with the Micro Machines Corporation. He comes in a few different sculpts and looks. Here's Yvette Serrano, which I don't think we'd seen before. She comes in a couple of different sculpts. There's Spectre Watch, who I think we had seen, but he has a few more sculpts than I knew what to do. I imagine this is kind of a more generic character, but there's the Mark 6 Hollow Fang, Arc 12 Skyjack. I don't think we'd seen this, just like we hadn't seen the Moloch 9. A lot of vehicles this month, so if you're into vehicles, this would be a great month. Military Cargo, and Gaming Mat, of course. Velrock usually does a fantasy and a sci-fi. We haven't seen the fantasy just yet, but they have, I think they call them Dune Peacekeepers. Out on the sands of the desert. Vermillion Miniatures. I usually put them in models because they kind of do more modern-ish stuff, but some of this look kind of futuristic too. This is Black Hand. And again, these could be modern, everyday miniatures, but they could also be, you know, a little bit in the future. Cyberpunk, something to that effect. Wargames Atlantic has put out their tier. They haven't put out everything in an actual release yet, and I'm being kind of cautious this month. Maybe I shouldn't be quite so cautious, but they put out the Legion for Deathfields, as well as some World War II French snipers. But the only other release that I've seen this month is the Vehicle Terrain. And is that a DeLorean? It looks a lot like a DeLorean, but okay, there's some stuff missing in the back if it is. Yeah, so not that kind of DeLorean. Wargame Exclusive has the Chaos Prime, the Master of Heresy. Orc Grok. He's a graffiti artist, so whatever you want to put on your graffiti wall. Light Side Howling Blades. Looks to be 5 of these models. They have a lot going on their armor. Chaos Spawn Kornax. Imperial Core Lord Commissar. This is a nice looking model. Necro Cyborg Flayers. I bet they are founded on a place that was called Elm Street. Orc Boss Met Doc. Lightside Howling Blades Exarch. So there's a leader for those others. Warmachine is, in my opinion, a little weird to figure out exactly what they're releasing every month. So we have Old Umbre, the Extreme Capitan Machism. There are 3 Primevals. That was the third one. These are 1 and 2. There are 3 Ferals. 1, 2, and 3. So it looks like you can print different parts and you don't have to print everything. There's an Old Umbre terrain set, which we're not going to go into any more detail than just that. A couple of trees and buildings. There's the Drudge Slayers. I do believe these are part of the monthly release, A through E and F through J. And these are the Mind Slayers, which we keep seeing prominently displayed every time they talk about the month's release, just like you see it right here. So for August release, you get 45 plus STLs. So more than 45 files, but the terrain takes up quite a bit of that, doesn't it? I think so. Well, folks, that is where we're going to stop with the SciFi video. Again, this is an update, so if there's something you think I've missed and you're like, I saw this, but why did you include it? It might be in review video number 1. I do review number 2 as an update video, not to just rehash everything that we've already looked at. So thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.